I work with Friends of Lake Turkana. I'm an indigenous activist.
Start by telling us your name.
Yeah.
What you do and what the event is all about.
My name is Langele. I work with Friends of Lake Turkana. I'm an indigenous climate activist. Today we gather here to do a march, an African People's March, because as Africa is facing the problems of the climate crisis, we are keen to make sure that African voices are heard. Yes, we appreciate that African governments and other actors are assembling at the KICC, but we felt that this particular march was really towards a collective African people's voices that brings together those working towards the energy transition, those working for free and fair access to healthcare, those working for food sovereignty and food security, securing our food systems across the world. So that's what we really are working towards, and bringing the different voices across class, across ages, and across different regions.
So basically, after the work, what do you want to achieve?
After the work, we want to start to think around what is a collective African voice. We've been working in silos. Whenever we are looking, we're talking about energy. Others are working on healthcare. Others are working on food security. Others are working on water. But we are trying to say, what does it mean to dismantle the systemic inequalities that are built on neo-colonial, capitalist models? But really saying, what does it mean for every African to be part of the solution, because we are all facing the crisis, the climate crisis.
So for how long are you going to do the walk?
We're going to have a walk from here to the Green Park, which is going to be about 3 hours. And from there we're going to have, because Africans were about song and dance and conversations orally, we're going to have a space where people are going to have spoken word, creative expression, song and dance, where we celebrate our diversity, but also start to seek our own solutions from our diversity through song and dance and conversations amongst different regions within the continent.
After this whole event, the culmination,
we are really hoping that through this, we actually start to amplify the African voices, where then we can really make sure that governments listen to us. But we also build a collective so that across the different regions we come from, that people can start to recognize and push and hold their own governments to account. Because we cannot wait for an African event to hold our governments to account. But we hope that we will, using the different partnerships, the collaborations, the collective, we then can start to hold our governments to account. But what we're also hoping for is that the decisions reached by our governments really amplify the voices of the Africans' needs, rather than the interests of market dynamics or the global north governments and financiers.
anything else that I've left out and you really want to add?
Generally, we just want to make sure that the African voice is at the center of any decision made around the climate action.
So you will start by introducing yourself, telling us who you are, what you do basically.
Good morning, my name is Babawale Obayanju. I'm from Friends of the Earth Africa, and I'm from Nigeria.
So basically, what's about today's event?
So today we are having the real African Climate People's March. It's a collective of African peoples from across Africa, from all parts, East, West, South, North Africa. And we are all gathered here to make a demand that the African leaders who have gathered at the African Summit venue at KICC should not allow this conference to be hijacked by the foreigners. It is an African conference. It's an opportunity for us Africans to state our position in a way and manner that will benefit the people of Africa. We have come here to demand that this is not a time to put up smoke screens in the form of carbon credits, in the form of geoengineering. My name is Babawale Obayanju from Friends of the Earth Nigeria Environmental Rights Action. And right here in Kenya, I'm representing the Friends of the Earth Africa, a collective of members from around Africa. I'm here this morning to join this climate march, the Real African Summit Climate March, organized by the peoples of Africa from all across Africa, West, East, North, and Southern Africa. We are here as a people to demand that the real climate solution we need now is that fossil fuel be left on the ground. This is not a time where we are going to allow any influence from whatever sphere of the world to interfere with this golden opportunity that has been given to us. It is time we stand together and decolonize Africa's energy system. It's a time we stand together and ask for renewable energy to be made available to everybody. A system that is led by the people, a system owned by the people, a system where the people demand the kind of energy that they need for their well-being and for their livelihood. We are here to demand that Africa's energy system must be decolonized. It must be brought out from the hands of the corporates. It is time for the African people to stand together and make a demand that what we need now is systems change, not climate change. What we need now is that Africa's energy system be decolonized. It should be put in the hands of people. This is not a time that we should promote carbon markets. It is not going to put an end to the different climate crises that Africa is today facing. There are over 600 million Africans today who are still without energy. And there are a lot more who have become climate refugees because of the climate change impact. The time to act is now. No other time do we have but now. African leaders, stand and defend your people. African leaders, stand and defend the rights of your people. The energy systems we need now is to be led by the people, is to be determined by how the people want it, a system that will protect the people and the environment. And that system is the renewable energy for Africa. Support it, stand with us, and join us in this fight.
So what's the aim of this match today, basically?
The aim of this match today is to put forth the demands of the African people at the front burner. Last year at COP27, we had the Loss and Damage Finance Fund established. And now we are talking about the the climate finance at this conference. It should be a time where we put our heads together and decide how that fund, how that mechanism should be funded. It is not a time to begin to look for carbon markets. It is time to demand that those who have suffered loss and damages get the desired fund they need to survive and adapt. It is time for African leaders to make that change. So we are here to place our demands on the table. Not as CSOs, not as individuals, but as a collective of Africans whose voice must be heard, whose needs must be put in the front, whose development must be made in a manner that would help each and every African on this continent to be who they should be. Asante Sana.
So basically after the match, what do you want the African government or those who are participating, the leaders, do thereafter?
But policies that have been put in place, the different policies that have been put in place in Africa. African countries across have beautiful policies. The government should ball up, take the willpower and begin to implement those policies that are good for the people. African leaders must take a stand. The kind of energy systems we need is one that is people-centered, led by the people, governed by the needs of the people. So the African leaders must take a stand and not allow the corporates to buy up the space and introduce to them carbon market that will further make our problems worse. We are demanding that these people take a stand for Africa. Opportunity that we have, we should not misuse it. The time to act is now.
Anything else that I have left out that you really think you want to add on?
Just 1 minute. I need to check that out now. It says be led by Africans. It should not be determined by some people from the West. It's a system that must be governed by us based on our own needs and how we want those needs to be met. Thank you.
Naweza pata aje?
Kweli. Jina langu ni Muriuki John Degwa. Miaka yangu ni 25. Mimi ni Mr. Climate Kenya. Nimekuwa distracted for. Mtanini sana. Jina langu ni Muriuki John Degwa, Mr. Climate Kenya, nambari 3 kwa vijana Kenya mzima. Chini ya organization inaitwa Mr. and Miss Climate Kenya. Miaka 25 mimi. Kongamano hili ni la dhamana kwangu sana na zaidi yote Afrika nzima, kwa sababu mambo ya simtakarakara tusinia mambo ya hali ya nchi taifa zingine, na pia zaidi ya yote mambo ya mazingira na ubadilikaji wa hali ya anga. Hiyo ndio zaidi hali kuu ama zaidi kuu. Unaweza rudia tena?
Haina shida. Anza tu.
Unaweza rudia tena.
Okay, climate kwa Kiswahili inaitwa mabadiliko ya. Sasa pengine unaweza kutuambia majina yako na ni kwa nini uko hapa na uko na ile title yako ni gani hapa?
Jina langu ni Muriuki John Degwa, miaka 25. Mimi ni Mr. Climate Kenya, second runners up. Chini ya Mr. and Miss Climate Kenya organization hapa Kenya. African Climate Summit ni kongamano kuu ambalo lilitengenezwa na kusudi lake ni kufikia lengo la mambo ya mazingira, na zaidi yote mataifa kushikana ili kukumbana na hali hii ya mabadiliko ya hali ya anga, na zaidi yote mazingira yao masafi zaidi. Organization ambalo nawakilisha ni Mr. and Miss Climate Kenya, na zaidi yote sisi ni sauti kuu. Lengo letu ni kufikia vijana na kuwafahamisha na kuwawezesha kujua zaidi ya yote sisi tuko na nguvu na sisi ndio tuko na uwezo wa kubadilisha mambo ambayo yanaendelea hapa. Na nikiwa hapa nimeweza kusoma mambo mingi, kuongea na watu wengi, na zaidi ya yote hili ni jambo ambalo linatubabaisha kama Afrika. Lakini zaidi yote tukiwa hapa na hata siku ambazo tutakuwa hapa baada ya kongamano hili, tutakuwa na uwezo na tutakuwa na ufahamu zaidi ya vile ya kuendelea na mambo haya.
Hili kongamano pengine itachangia aje kuelewesha wananchi ama dunia ama Afrika ile kutunza mazingira na pamoja na mabadiliko ya hali ya anga?
Hili litasaidia sana, na haswa sasa hivi tunapoongea linasaidia sana kwa sababu sisi natumai watu wanajua kuwa ukiwa na ufahamu uko na nguvu, na hilo ni jambo la dhamana sana. Kukuwa na wafahamisha ufahamu, hiyo itatusaidia sana, na Afrika nzima pia itakuwa imewezeka kuelewa mambo zaidi.
Safi. Iko sawa.